So, free agency for the most part is pretty much in full effect to this point. We've seen a number of moves to this point. We've seen guys flip to divisional rivals. We've seen guys sign some big extensions. We've seen some big trades. And we have seen new guys sign big extensions to new NFL teams for the most part. We've seen a number of big moves to this point. Some teams have gone out and make a splash in free agency so far. And some teams have done absolutely nothing to improve their team to this point, knowing that they need to improve their team right now. We actually had a lot of big winners to this point, but we also had a lot of big losers. And today we're going to look at some of those teams in this video. So I'm not going to sit here and beg you guys for the subscription right now. I hope at the end of this video I earned your subscription and you like this video. And if you do, let me know at the end. But like I said, not going to do the usual intro. Let's go ahead and hop into this. For the first of the winners, we have the Houston Texans. The Texans are obviously going to be competing in a very stacked AFC this year with a number of great teams, and they made some very great moves to compete with a lot of those teams, acquiring Joe Mixon from the Bengals, signing one of the best pass rushers in free agency this year in Danielle Hunter to a huge contract, also acquiring Danico Autry and Azeez Al-Shire, reuniting him with his former defensive coordinator DeMeco Ryans. The Texans are going to have to compete with a number of talented teams in the AFC this year. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Baltimore Ravens, the Miami Dolphins, and the Buffalo Bills. So they're going to do a lot to compete this year. And the moves they made this year will get them towards that goal and to compete with a lot of these teams. The Dallas Cowboys are going to be the first loser on this list. Now, the Cowboys, you could argue, they're a team that doesn't even necessarily make, any moves this year. They have a really stacked roster. However, they needed to make a lot of moves as they lost a number of guys in free agency this year, like Tony Pollard, Tyler Business, Dorrance Armstrong, Tyree Smith, and Stephon Gilmore. There was also a number of rumors that they were going to sign running back Derrick Henry. Obviously, he signed the Baltimore Ravens, leaving the Cowboys now without a running back, and their running back room now being filled with Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn. Now the Cowboys could still sign somebody. Like I said, free agency is going to be going on for a while now. But the fact that they did not target anybody or at least try to sign anybody in the earlier parts of free agency is kind of questionable in my opinion. Like I said before, they were in the talks with signing Derrick Henry and I think a couple of other running backs. But I think money was a problem for the Cowboys, which is why they couldn't sign anybody to this point. So time will tell what the Dallas Cowboys will do in free agency. The Atlanta Falcons are going to be the next team we cover in this video, and for the most part, they made a number of moves this season to improve their team this offseason, signing Kirk Cousins to a huge deal, and also getting a few underrated pickups in Rondale Moore and also Darnell Mooney for the most part. And that's already pairing them up with guys like Drake London and Kyle Pitts, and also a very good running game in Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. But let's hope for fantasy's sake that Bijan Robinson is the only running back that is used for the most part, because yeah, that's going to tick some people off. But as long as these teams stay healthy for the most part, they're going to have no problem whatsoever competing in this division, putting up points, becoming a high-powered offense, and leading these teams to the playoffs. That is, like I said, if they stay healthy, and most of that is going to depend on Kirk Cousins and how he plays. On my list, we have the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, we knew the Chargers were going to be in cap hell coming into this offseason, and for the most part, to basically keep up with their cap space, they had to make a number of moves, including releasing Mike Williams, restructuring Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, but also they just traded away Keenan Allen to the Chicago Bears for a 4th round pick. Now, it's looking more and more likely that they will take a guy like Romeo Unze or Malik Neighbors in the NFL draft, but right now, their offense is in complete tatters. They have no running game, and they have no starting caliber receivers right now. Quentin Johnson, we know, is inconsistent, and Joshua Palmer is good, but he's not a wide receiver one. But like I said, the draft is going to be their way to improve for the most part. I also gotta say, I'm not really a fan of them restructuring Joey Bosa and also Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack is getting older, so pushing money back for a guy his age doesn't really help the Chargers. And Joey Bosa has been injury prone over the last couple seasons, so pushing money for a guy like that, in my opinion, back towards the future also does not help in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'll end up regretting this, maybe I'll end up eating my crow, but for now, I gotta say, not a fan of it. For the winners, I fear we have the Philadelphia Eagles, and they made a number of big moves this free agency, including stealing Saquon Barkley from my New York Giants, giving them one of the best running backs in the league. That also gave them Bryce Huff, one of the better young pass rushers in the league. They brought back CJ Gardner-Johnson, and they also signed Devin White to a 1-year deal. That might be, iffy in my opinion, because Devin White honestly has been very poor over the last couple of seasons. But who knows? They might work some dark magic with Devin White like he does on the Philadelphia Eagles, and he may be one of the better linebackers in the league next year. So who knows? Like I said, it's the Eagles. They know how to work some dark magic. After what happened last year, it's not really surprised to see the Philadelphia Eagles went back and loaded up. And for the most part, they're going to continue competing in a very good NFC. And they can continue competing with the Cowboys in the NFC East for the most part. For losers, we have Justin Fields. Yes, we have a player that's going to be on this list. Justin Fields was projected to be one of the more targeted quarterbacks this offseason for the most part. However, a lot of these teams that needed quarterbacks have already signed their quarterbacks. Steelers have got Russell Wilson. The Atlanta Falcons obviously got Kirk Cousins. The Vikings got Sam Darnold. And the Raiders added Gardner Minshew. And if I should add an additional one, the Seahawks just got Sam Howell from the Commanders, leaving a lot of options for the Justin Fields to go to at this point. Fields' market is slowly dwindling down, and with the draft slowly approaching, there's not a big market for him at this point anymore. And with the draft approaching, a lot of these teams are going to start zeroing in on these quarterbacks to decide if they want to trade up for them or if they want to stand pat and take them wherever they land up at. But like I said, not a lot of options for Justin Fields at this point. So time will tell at this point what exactly happens to him and what team decides to take a chance on him. But like I said before, it's not really a big market for him. Packers on my winners list. Now the Packers, they did lose Aaron Jones and David Bakhtiari due to the fact they cut them. However, they managed to acquire Josh Jacobs, who's still one of the better running backs in the league, and also Xavier McKinney, who's one of the better safeties in the league. So they improved their team in a big way despite losing 2 key players for the most part. We saw what the Packers could do in the NFC last season, especially down in the middle of the season. So I could only imagine what they're going to do with a better team this season and a better offense. And with the fact that the Vikings are slowly dropping out of contender for the division, and the Bears not being there just yet, and a lot of teams in the NFC slowly falling apart. If the Packers want to contend this season, in my opinion, I think this might be their chance. Losers, we have the Buffalo Bills. Now, I said before, the Buffalo Bills were going to have to make some very costly moves this offseason because of the cap space situation they're currently in right now. Because of their cap space situation, they had to be forced to release Jordan Poyer, Mitch Morse, and also Tre'Davious White. And Gabriel Davis had to walk in free agency. Leonard Floyd also walked in free agency. And Micah Hyde probably will not be back, in my opinion. Now, for a team like the Buffalo Bills that's in a win-now mode, and now they did just sign Curtis Samuel, I will point that out, but the Bills are in a win-now mode for the most part, and because of their cap situation, they couldn't make any big moves, and in a team that's in a win-now mode, and their window is slowly closing, this is going to hurt the Bills in my opinion this season. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it does. Maybe they work some dark magic like I said the Eagles would, but we'll see. But for now, I think they're losers. Losers, we have the Buffalo Bills. Now, I said before, the Buffalo Bills were going to have to make some very costly moves this offseason because of the cap space situation they're currently in right now. Because of their cap space situation, they had to be forced to release Jordan Poyer, Mitch Morse, and also Tre'Davious White. And Gabriel Davis had to walk in free agency. Leonard Floyd also walked in free agency. And Micah Hyde probably will not be back, in my opinion. Now, for a team like the Buffalo Bills that's in a win-now mode, and now they did just sign Curtis Samuel, I will point that out, but the Bills are in a win-now mode for the most part, and because of their cap situation, they couldn't make any big moves, and in a team that's in a win-now mode, and their window is slowly closing, this is going to hurt the Bills in my opinion this season. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it does. Maybe they work some dark magic like I said the Eagles would, but we'll see. But for now, I think they're losers. The Tennessee Titans are going to be the next team we talk about for the winners list. The Tennessee Titans went out and improved their offense in a big way this season, signing Calvin Ridley to a 4-year deal. While it might be a little bit of an overpay for the most part, it was still a very solid pickup for the most part. They also went out and got former Cowboys running back Tony Pollard. Obviously, that's going to be Derrick Henry's replacement. And they also went out and got Lloyd Cushenberry to improve their offensive line. We know the Titans are happy, but Will Levis might be more happier than anybody. Look at the receiving core he has now. Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, Traylon Burks. Then you add on their tight end. I'm not even going to pronounce his name. I'm not going to try to. And then you add on their running backs with Tony Pollard and also Tajay Spears, who's pretty underrated in my opinion. So he has a very stacked offense to work with now. And I would probably suggest our offensive line is going to, need some minor improvements. But the Titans offense, in my opinion, is getting there. For the losers, we have the Denver Broncos. The Broncos were already in a mess coming into the tampering period when they cut Russell Wilson. And because of that, they're now in a financial mess. So they also had to cut Justin Simmons. They lost Lloyd Cushenberry in free agency and also Josie Jewell. If I had to say, the Broncos are probably the biggest loser right now of the offseason. They're in a hot mess right now. And even the draft is not going to help them at this point. Because even if they draft, a quarterback in the first round, are they even going to have the money to sign a lot of these guys because the mess they're in right now? We'll see, but my God, it's not looking good for the Broncos in my opinion. For a winner, I have Bryce Young. Bryce Young was in QB hell last season with the number of bad things that went on around this scene for the most part. But luckily though, the new general manager for the Panthers went out and made some moves for him this season. He just went out and got him Deontay Johnson from the Pittsburgh Steelers and also went out and added a number of offensive linemen for this team for the most part. So like I said before, he went out and finally got Bryce Young some help. And while they did trade away Brian Burns to get this second round pick for the Giants, that's also going to continue to help them build around this offense during the NFL draft. Will the Panthers actually do that? Time will tell. But for Bryce Young right now, it only is looking up for him for the most part. Now, will this age well because it's taking on the Panthers? Yeah, probably will. My Panthers takes have not aged well over the past couple years, so I'm begging the man above. Please do not make me look bad, Panthers. I'm begging you. Let me get one right for you. I live in the Carolinas. I got some love for the Panthers. Do not make me be wrong on this take. For the Dolphins, they're going to be a loser. They lost a number of key players in free agency this year. Christian Wilkins and also Robert Hunt. And also guys like Andrew Van Ginkel, Jerome Baker, and also Xavier Howard. Not to mention, as of right now, they still do not have a firm extension on Tua Tagovailoa just yet. For another team that's supposed to be competing in the AFC this year, they lost a number of key players that were basically going to help them compete. So the Dolphins are definitely going to be another team that I wonder, what are they going to do now with all the players they lost? But basically, it's the same deal with the Buffalo Bills. They lost a number of key players, and they don't exactly have a tight window in their Super Bowl playoff window right now, in my opinion. Especially when there's a lot of questions around your quarterback, Tua, as well. But finally, the final winner on my list, and I think they deserve this, running backs, because running backs got paid all over the place this offseason. Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard, DeAndre Swift, Austin Eckler, Devin Singletary, Gus Edwards, Zach Moss, Joe Mixon, Derrick Henry. All those guys got paid this offseason. All running backs wanted to do was get paid. They wanted some fair treatment. And for the most part, this offseason, they got that fair treatment. And I think they deserve it, in my opinion. The running back position is still going to be a very controversial talk for years to come, in my opinion. Yes, but for the most part, they got what they wanted. They wanted equal pay like every other position. And for the most part, they got just that, in my opinion. So if you are a part of that running back committee, honestly, it's a good day to celebrate because you got paid. But you guys in the comments, let me know what you guys think about free agency so far and what you think about some of the big deals we saw so far. And let me know if I missed a loser or a winner. Let me know in the comments down below what team I missed. But that is going to do it for this video. Make sure if you haven't yet, you subscribe to my channel and tap the bell icon for future football content. And follow me on social medias down below in the description. And I will hope to see you guys in the next video. I hope I earned the description, by the way. And I hope I see you guys in the next video. Peace out.